Don't know why that came on. Hey, what's up, guys? All right. I'm getting my things together here. Let's see. Let's share this. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. Awesome. First ever Wednesday warm up. That's what I'm going to be doing today. Wednesday warm up is just basically me going through some of my warm ups, showing you guys how I do certain things, whether it's going to be from drawing to inking to coloring, whatever it's going to be. Yeah, and if anybody has any questions or anything like that, just feel free to ask. Good time. So I'm still working on this hero piece. Actually, sadly, haven't really been able to touch it much. I'm working on a book, so I have to push this aside every once in a while. But yeah, let's see how this goes. Yeah. Okay. So I got my reference off to the side. So what I'm going to do is, as I'm doing this, and you guys hear the trash trucks coming right now. I'm going to fill out his suit. So off to the side here, you guys can't see it, but I have my reference photo that I'm using for Hero. That I got from. Well, actually, this is the character that I'm drawing. I got the character reference from Edgar Patton. He was on our show, and that's what I'm using. What I'm going to do is I'm working on another layer. Now, those for you who know, I do work mostly digital, but there'll be I'll be doing also traditional on here, so it's not going to be just digital all the time. I'll show you guys some traditional techniques as well. Let's see here. So, okay. So let me switch it to this view. I like this one better. Let me put our fiery background. There you go. I saw my reference off to the side so I can use it. So what I'm doing is on a different layer using a soft brush that I have. I'm just going to go in and kind of switch to a gray. There we go. I'm going to loosely just put in the details of his suit. You know, get all these details. He's got shoulder pads. Now, for anybody who saw me doing my test stream, I had started doing a monster over here, but I've decided to change that monster to one that's in the book. The one that is currently part of Edgar's campaign that he's doing for his Ameri-Kaiju book. I am not gonna remember the names. I'm so bad at remembering names. But hey Roy, what's up, man? I did. I can see your comments now. Thanks. I had to go. It's a big process to get it changed. I had to go like give permission to a bunch of stuff so that way they could see the comments. Yeah, so Edgar is doing his Ameri-Kaiju campaign right now. You guys should really go check it out. I'll post a link in the comments once we're done. Go check it out. Fantastic book. It's got a bunch of fun characters. Yeah, he was a guest on our Comics Cast show, on our Let It Out show on Comics Cast, and I loved his book. And I loved what he was doing. I loved his story about how him and his son, created the book together. It's a great story. So it's a great campaign to support. But the monster that's going to go over here is part of his campaign, and right now Comics Cast is doing a special deal with him. If you go support his book. There's a tier where you can absolutely right, absolutely awesome tool. We're loving it. Me and Jarrell have been talking about switching over from StreamYard to this, just because it can do so much for us. Um, yeah, once we get the boss man Joe to to okay the switch, we're definitely going to be coming over to this. Um, getting what I was saying is he's got an Edgar's got an awesome campaign go over there, and right now Comics Cast has teamed up with them, so you get a discount on a toy. So one of his tiers, you get a pretty good size figure. It's not like one of these like little tiny little like pocket things. This is a good size figure. So if you go support his campaign, you'll get that. And Comics Cast is doing a special with them where you get like certain percentage off. It's from yesterday till today, so I believe it'll be ending sometime later today. No, that's not right. That's not right. I'm wrong. As always, I'm wrong. Um, I'll put that in the comments as well. But I'll post a link. Go check it out. It's a great book. Can't say enough good things about it. Also, those who don't know Roy is going to be our guest this weekend on Let It Out. Here, let me switch back to this one. Here. This one I think you could see more. There we go. He's going to be gracing our presence with his talent. Yes. Roy's absolutely amazing. He's one of those guys that you see him doing his work or anything he's drawn before, and you're just like, how did he do that? What did he do there? And then you study it, and then you I'm just gonna say it, steal some of his techniques. So let's see. Let me drop these down. So what I did is once I got his costume like laid out how I want it, I will lock my channels and then put a blue the non-photo blue color over it. It's just to help me to see things better. But yes, let me pop this one up. Yes, Ameri-Kaiju's toy is dope. It is Funko Pop size. Yeah. All right, I'll give you. I'll send you my address. Make sure you send it to me, not to like Joe or Jarrell or anything like that, right? So what I just did is in putting that non-photo blue layer. You can do this traditionally if you like sketch it out very lightly, or you have non-photo blue pencils, lead. Sometimes I used to use a red when I would draw traditionally. Um, if you have that, you can kind of sketch out what you want very lightly, and then with the eraser, go over it, get rid of it a little bit, lighten it up, and then go over with your pencils or whatever you're going to be drawing with, and but leave enough of the lines that you can see. So like traditionally, I have the ability to play with the opacity, which works great for me. So I could lower it down. And since I save a step, I've said this before, I save a step. I do not, I don't do really detailed pencils anymore. I just go straight into inking. It saves me time. I could get books out faster. I could get pages out faster. So I just doing loose lines and then doing this technique helps me get things out so much quicker than before when I would draw like everything in pencil and try to make sure everything was perfect. Then the beauty of me being able to do digital now is the fact that I don't have to do that anymore. There we go. Start getting some of these. I always start with a really light, loose line. as well. Like it's just following, and then I'll go in and start adding my major details. I'm just getting my basic outlines. I'm not worried about line weight yet. I'm not worried about any of that yet. Just getting the lines down that I need. Let's get that. Okay. And for anybody wondering, I am using Procreate. It is my main program now that I will draw and ink with. Um, I found a setting that I like on it, and yeah, it's become my favorite nowadays. Anybody who's been following me for a while, which isn't a lot of people, uh, I used to draw traditionally a lot more, but I have a slightly shaky hand, and drawing digitally helps that. I could get a smoother line when I need to get like perfectly straight lines from drawing buildings or anything like that. It helps me because I don't have to worry about like, oh, look at that came out wobbly or anything like that. One of my least favorite things to draw is metal, but I found out that I love coloring shiny things. Like since I color my majority of my own work, I love coloring the shiny things now. So I uh, I will leave them very open for me to come in later and color it in and just do what I want to do with it. One of the other things I've learned by coloring my own work is that I don't have to put in as many lines anymore into my artwork. I will I will leave space for my colors. So before I used to fill in. I grew up idolizing guys like Mark Silvestri, Todd McFarlane. You know those guys that were like all the detail, all the lines on them. So I used to go in and do all those lines and just fill a page. But as I learned how to color, I started to realize I'm not leaving much space for my colors to shine through. There's just so much scratchy lines everywhere that um, a lot of the stuff I'm doing, I can just get like the amount of detail or mood with my colors. So that was one of the great things about. All right, I gotta pop this comment up because it's hilarious. Drawing digitally is cheating. Huh? Gosh, working digitally is super helpful. Not to mention being really cost friendly in the long run. That is true. Like you may invest money on whether it be a tablet, an iPad, um, on them, but the paper also starts to get expensive, especially now. Like I went to the art store not too long ago and I saw that the same blue line paper that I was using before is like $30 for like a 20 pack, if that, if it was 20 sheets anymore. I didn't check. I saw the price. I was like, wow, the prices have really, really gone up. Now I will give it an artist tip, I guess you could say. A lot of guys will go for these blue line. They want those blue lines, just like the companies um, will use. They want to be like the professional guys, and that's awesome. That is great. If you could do that, that is awesome. But I found, just go to if you could find one, a local paper company. I know I live in California, so out here in California we have a paper company called Kelly Paper, and they have so many different types of paper, and they have some locations you could go into and and see what they have, like what kind of paper, and you just ask them like, hey, where's your Bristol boards at, and they'll take you over, they'll let you look at them. They even have samples you could buy for like maybe less than $1, and you can draw on those and see what you like. And then when you go to buy a ream, you can buy a ream of paper, which is like 200. Oh man, I wish I could dig mine out right now. It's under my desk, but it's like 200, if not more, piece sheets of paper for like $40. And when I was drawing traditionally, that's what I did. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to save me so much money. I got a ton of paper. And I think like a week later, I bought an iPad, and I've been drawing on that ever since. But that's a great way to save some money on paper. And the paper I found was perfect for me. I was able to do everything I wanted. I was able to ink on it. I was able to do the texture effects that I want, like splattering inks, things like that. It didn't smear my pencils too much. I mean, I would use a I know some artists will use the gloves when they're drawing traditionally, but I used to use the cardboards that would come when you buy a comic that they give you at the comic book store. They'll put inside the plastic to keep your comics from folding. I would use those. I would lay those down because they have like a waxy backside to them. So I would lay those down so it slide around. Save the trees. Draw digital. Yeah. I know when Roy Crumb's on our show this weekend, I'm just gonna be picking his brain on what he uses. Like, Roy, what brush do you use? That one's my favorite. What brush do you use? All right, let's see. Okay, let me bring this down here. See, now that I've gotten them laid out, yeah, right, the never-ending question, right? I don't know if you're like me, but my brushes are this is how my brushes are labeled: brush one, inking; brush two, brush three. Like, so I don't even remember which ones they were because I've mixed brushes. You create things. I think most of my brushes are a mixture of like two brushes, the way you can do it in Photoshop, and then with the settings, the way I set it up. I found what works for me. Actually, before I started with Comics Cast, right before I came on, I had to change the names of my brushes because I had really inappropriate names for my brushes. I thought it was funny. I just thought it would be funny if anybody who saw me, who was looking over my shoulder when I was drawing, would see my name of these brushes and be like, "What do you name? What's the name of that brush you're using?" And then once I joined Comics Cast and I was gonna be drawing live with them, I had to change it because I am a child and I thought it was funny. Let's see. Where I said this. I'm learning. Ooh, I'm leaning towards grungy and pencil brushes. I love the imperfections, and it gives you a traditional look too. Yeah, you know what? That was something, right, that I started to do as well. And I could let me show my brushes. So, like when I first got Procreate, I didn't like how smooth everything was. I like a a pencil look to it. This is like some of the ones I use that have a pencil-y look to them. They're not perfect. I could get those sharp lines that I like. Um, all my pencil brushes have like a different weight to them depending on what I'm going to be doing. Um, But I think it's because I was drawing so long traditionally that I can't draw. I can't draw with an inking brush. I can't like this brush that I'm inking with. I love it to ink with. Um, and this inking brush is, let's see, is it a mixture of two? No, it's just the one that I think it's just one of the ones that came with Procreate that I played around with. Um, I can't draw with it. It looks too smooth. It doesn't look right to me. I think it's all those years of drawing traditional. I wanted a pencil look still in my digital drawings, and I finally found that, which is which is kind of weird because you know once you go digital, clearly you're not drawing with a pencil, but you still want it to look like you were. It's just funny to me. I don't know. Yeah, it's all those years of drawing. I'm like, why doesn't that look like a pencil? Well, because it's not a pencil. I don't know about you guys, but like when I started drawing digitally, there was a steep learning curve. I think a lot of times people are gonna think they're just gonna like jump right on digital, and they're gonna just be better or as they were before. I know for me, it took a bit. I had to get used to settings. I had to get used to the smoothness of the screen, which I found a cheat. You can get like these screen protectors that are have like a paper like feel to them, which I think I need to get another one because this one's starting to get a little smooth. But yes, absolutely right. It makes it easier for us to achieve a signature look to our art. Oh, yeah, absolutely, totally, 100% agree. Um, when what I think for me what it was the line weight. When I first got my iPad, like even though there's a pressure sensitivity, I hadn't learned how to adjust it yet. So every line to me felt like it had the same weight to it. Um, Once I got the settings to where I like it, then it was so much more appealing to the eye. And I will be doing some traditional drawings on here. I still love drawing traditional. It's just this way is faster for me. Jarrell, what is up, man? I was just talking to Roy and letting him know that we're going to be stealing stuff from him this weekend when he's on Let It Out with, without being too obvious about it, and be like, how did you do that, Roy? Could you show me? Could you send me your brush just so I can practice with it? Also, send me your files so I could study them. So I already know. So like right here, when I'm getting to the bottom, like the character has like a strap going across his chest. Um, I already know what I'm going to do with my colors here, so I'm really not going to put too much detail here. I'm probably going to even like fade him out a little bit once I get some more inks, so it gives him more like a almost like a ghostly figure behind him. But I do want to let's fill him in with some blacks here. I'll do some reverse inking or subtractive inking. I think Jarrell uh, mentioned to me. I don't think that's the the name of the technique, and I always say this: if anybody knows the name of the technique where you just, you're inking with whites, I know there's a name for it, but I always call it reverse inking because I forgot the name. I forgot the name of it. But it's just my eraser set um, to the same brush settings that I'm inking with, just so I could get the same texture. See, Roy says, have you considered working hybrid, printing on blue lines on Bristol, then inking it traditionally? Yes, I used to do that. Um, I used to do my thumbnails, tiny piece of paper, scan it in, um, print them out on a 11 by 17 Bristol, and then I would draw from there. Um, and then inking would take me a while. I feel like inking's my isn't my strong suit. Um, so what I did was I would do I'd print it out, scan it in, print it out, draw it up in pencils, and then ink digitally. So I have a Huey on, and I used to use Clip Studio to do my digital inks. And then once I got an iPad, I've been doing all my inks and everything from there. Um, I miss traditional artwork. I do, but again, this is easier for me now. I could pump out work a lot faster. I know I've gotten a lot of. Do you have digital? I mean, traditional work that you could possibly sell, or are you selling any? And I don't, because everything's I have is digital now. Because when I started doing this was before I joined the Comics Cast crew. Um, I didn't think about those things. There's a lot of things I didn't think about. I've learned so much from being with Comics Cast, from listening to other artists talk about like things they do and stuff like that. So, and selling traditional art, things like that. I was like, oh, that was something I never thought of. If I would have thought of that, I might have stayed doing it, doing that hybrid style. But I like digital. I'm not completely I'm not looking for I would love to make more money off my art than I currently am, but at the same time I love working the way I work, so I think that aspect of it, the money part for like selling original pieces, isn't as important to me as um, creating the art the way I do. Anybody else who like um, can sell their traditional art and stuff like that, that's awesome. So it's so awesome for me to hear like when other artists are able to sell their art and you know support themselves doing artwork. Here's the thing I hate. This is the one thing I hate when you do. When you're like me, I end up I end up dragging my finger across somewhere else, putting a line that's not intended to be there, and now I got to go uh, in and get rid of some of these lines here. Yeah, Roy, yeah, Roy. Um, so this is a good topic for Friday freestyle. Yeah, we need to talk about this because I love hearing all sides of artwork. I love hearing everything that everyone has to say, because everybody has their points and on why they do things a certain way. This is just the way I do it, and I think I wouldn't be as fast and as efficient as I am now if I was to do traditional again. Um, like most artists, I am a perfectionist. So, hey, what's up, Sebastian? Oh, thanks, man. Um, oh, let's see. Oh, brought up the wrong one. So yeah, I'm a lot slower when it comes to drawing with a pencil because I'm trying to make sure everything's fixed. I like when you draw traditional, when you flip a page to make sure their faces look good. I would do that. End up having to go back and erasing. It takes time. I was a bit more of a perfectionist traditionally, and oops, I'm gonna erase it. Where things would bother me, and you know, I would get through a piece and be like, "Oh man, his arm doesn't look right, or this doesn't look right, that doesn't look right," and then I would kind of like scrap the whatever I was working on. But this way, I can go in and let's say if something looks wonky at the end digitally, I can fix it. It's not a big deal, and I'm not a huge fan. If I'm working on on somebody's book and they ask for a redraw of a panel or whatever, okay, done. That's going to be what's best for the story. But when I'm doing personal artwork, I do not like doing redraws. It's I'm just lazy that way. Um, so a lot of times if I'm drawing and then I like see something wrong, I'm like, I do not want to. I don't want to redraw that. That was just for fun, you know. Throw it in the pile. But now doing digitally, I can be like, oh well, that won't take long. Let me just go back and fix that. Just get a big eraser or whatever. Sometimes you could use the liquify tool to you know change something, whether it just needs a little bit of shaping. You could do that. And that works for me too. Like I said, I have a tiny bit of a shake, so um, having to go back and do that is traditionally for me is a little bit harder than doing digital. So um, this just works out better for me. I see guys that draw traditionally, and I'm just like, oh man, that's incredible. We've had so many guys like on Friday Freestyle, on Let It Out that have that draw traditionally. I'm like, oh man, like their line work is is so good. Like they are absolutely amazing. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do more traditional again. Um, it just takes me longer when I'm trying to produce work at a higher higher rate. This is the way for me to go. So what do you think? So what I want to give him like a that ghostly feel, and I want him to look like he fades away. So I'm gonna grab one of my brush. Let's go with this gaze here. Eraser. Let's kind of like mask him off a little bit here. And then with this eraser, I'm just gonna let's see how this looks. There we go. Just slightly, very lightly erase this. And I rarely stick to one brush to do everything. Um, I like to change all the brushes I'm using. Ooh, that's too much. So that way I get like different textures, different feels, things like that. Let's see where it says I'm heavy-handed. That's why the Bristol is completely damaged before I even finish working. Digitally saved me a lot of money and time. Yeah, and I would um I that's exactly what would happen with me, Roy. And I was heavy-handed with my erasing too. So I'd start to erase and I would start tearing up the paper. And it was a certain area that I was trying to um erase a certain section and I messed up and went back, I would start like, digging a hole in it. Hey, hey, Brett. I'm currently streaming on my Facebook and the Comics Cast YouTube page. So if you go to Indie Comics Cast on YouTube, see it there. Oh, you're on YouTube. Okay, I see your little icon. Yeah, I am. I'm also streaming from my Facebook. I don't think it brings up all the comments. Um, only I can see them on my side, I think. Let's see here. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, right. Yeah, being heavy-handed sucked, and when I would lay down the pencils, when I'd have to go erase them or anything like that, like I had left I'd leave like a groove in the paper, because for whatever reason, when I thought I was doing my final pencils, I would just like mash into the to the pencils, and it got so bad that sometimes when I would ink with a brush, the ink would start to bleed, like because I left a little channel for it to go through. So that was another one of my big issues, um, inking digitally. So let's create another layer here. I want to put some texture on his like shoulder pads. You know what? Instead of, let's bring in my one of my new favorites is this half tone shader here. I created on a different layer, and I'll just go in and here. This is like my new favorite brush, and I love it because I am a absolutely huge fan of current X-Men artist Pepe Larraz, and he does so many amazing textures. And after studying like some of his work, um, I was like, oh man, you know what? I would like to give that a try, and it does bring a new dimension to your artwork, doing different textures, something that I wouldn't do before. But I'll so also learning to color, you learn how to do more textures. At least for me, I learned how to do more textures, and it's something I've been adopting and putting into my traditional artwork, even more of putting in textures and shading, as opposed to just regular black and white line art. I've been doing a lot more shading with this is my current favorite. This like what is it? What is it called? A halftone shader. I think I got it from like, oops, Pencil Jack. I think it was called. Or no. What's it? I can't remember the name. I'll try to remember the artist that or where I got it from, and share it with you guys. But yeah, I love putting in these textures now. Makes my, I think it gives another dimension to my artwork. Again, since I am not the strongest inker. I am I am completely honest with that. I am not the strongest inker at all. Um, I know growing up, I was I was only focused on pencils. You know, I wanted to be a penciler so bad. Like, it's what I want to do. I want a pencil. I want a pencil. I want a pencil. But as I got older, I started wanting to color my own artwork because, well, I wasn't getting any work, any artwork, which is what I wanted. And I wanted to work with companies and other people, and I was doing the convention scene and wasn't having any luck. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to color my own stuff. Maybe that'll give me a new dimension to my artwork, and maybe people will see like, oh, this guy's not too bad. He kind of knows what he's doing, which I don't. I'll be honest with you guys right now. I don't know what I'm doing. But I started to learn how to color. And anybody who knows my backstory, I left drawing for a while. I got burnt out. I was trying it, and I got discouraged, and I left. I stopped drawing. And then I took time off. Still had an itch to be creative. I know, like so many others, we get that creative itch that we want to. Oops, I'm on the wrong layer for that. We wanted to create and be creative because it's in our blood. But I took up photography. I started doing pinup photography, like vintage, old classic Hollywood pinup photography. I started doing that, and it started to bring back my creativity, and I started to do a lot of what do they call it? Uh, composite photos. When you do a lot of vintage photography out here, it's a lot of car shows. It's a lot of um, the it was a lot of like you'd go somewhere to shoot, and I wanted to do other things. I didn't want to do what everybody else was doing, so um, I started doing these composites where I would go like to the mountains, and if there was no snow, I would create snow. And then I started to combine my two loves. I started doing these almost like a Roger Rabbit type artwork where I would take the photo of a model and then draw something else along with her. Um, I started doing that, and that started leading back to comics because I was essentially drawing like a comic again. And once I did that, I started drawing. I started drawing a little bit more. I started drawing more, and then I ended up not doing photography anymore, and then just started back on my comics full time. And then still on the same wrong layer every time. Yeah, but I learned. Honestly I learned so much from doing photography. I learned a lot about composition, um, framing, how to get better angles, how to make things look more interesting. And then I worked with just the most incredible, like absolutely incredible makeup artist, and she taught me so much about color that to this day I will still be like, hey, I'm working on this, I'm coloring this. What color should I use here? Because I'm stumped. I have friends who color know about color theory, but she's always my go-to. Like, hey, what color should I do here? Let me pick your brain. Plus, if you'll notice, and this is because from my years of from doing photography, and I eventually when we would work together, and we would became not only we became a team, but I would also help her prep the models that we were working with. So I that's how I learned a lot of my color theory as well, and what worked with certain skin tones. That's why if you'll notice, a lot of times if I do a girl character, they'll actually have like they look like they have makeup on because force of habit, all those years of learning about makeup that you know how to make their eyes pop or things like that. I will add a what looks like makeup to my characters. I don't do just a red lip and then everything else. I'll add eyeshadow, I'll add blush, I'll add all of that stuff because that's all the stuff I learned. And I got no. A lot of people were like, "You learned about makeup?" Oh, I don't care. It was such a fun experience learning about that because um, I'm a firm believer in learning everything you can because it all can adapt to something else. learning about makeup and learning about skin tones. Also, like, you learned, it was color theory. It was like, what looked good with this, what looked good with that, and I bring a lot of that to my art now. So, all that time, you know, I even learned how to like set hair for the models so the hairstylists can do their thing. And I ain't got it. I don't have hair. Like, there's nothing to set here, you know. So, it was just a fantastic experience. I loved it. Um, do not regret it. Sometimes I miss it. I do miss it, but you know, it really brought my love back to comics again. Doing Working with that great group. Oh well, so much for a 30-minute show, right? I was like, oh, I'll come on for 30 minutes. I'm almost at 15 minutes. I'll finish up this character for now because I got some pages I need to work on. I am finishing up the pages for a book called Wandering the World. It was written by Moshan Scott. Um, and I'm trying to finish that up by. Ooh, I was hoping for the end of this month. We'll see. We'll see if that happens. Um, Between work and other things going on, it keeps getting pushed back, but for sure, 100%, it'll be done by by uh, by next month. All right, guys, I think that's where I'm gonna leave it. So I got this character pretty much done. I may do some more textures to him later on. Um, but yeah, this is gonna be where I leave it. So I'm gonna be doing these every Wednesday. If there's anything anybody wants to learn, um, shoot me a message. Put in the comments like, "Hey, you're having trouble with this, or you're having trouble with that." It's not necessarily a you know a tips and tricks show. It's not necessarily a show where I'm going to be doing specific topics, but if there's something you're struggling with, I would love to try to help you guys out any way that I can. Um, so if you're having trouble with something, just shoot me a line, DM me, post in the comments. I will try to do a show on it, just to help you guys out. I love teaching. I love learning. So if there's something like that you guys have trouble with and I have trouble with, I'll reach out to other people and be like, "Hey, can you give us a hand with this?" Um, you know, uh, Help us out so that way we both learn, help make us better artists. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. I will be back next Wednesday. Also, look for us on Friday Freestyle on the Comics Cast page, as well as Let It Out this Sunday with the amazing Roy Mercado, and watch us, steal ideas from him. All right, guys. I will see you this weekend. Everyone have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will talk to you later. Bye, everyone.